You are listening to One Happy Podcast, episode 72.
And so he just kept saying, don't stop, just you have to keep going, do not stop. And by the time we got there, she was so shaken up, and so just from the drive, that she almost couldn't even get out of the car. She was so nauseous. But it was absolutely beautiful.
Bon dia and welcome to One Happy Podcast, the officially unofficial podcast of the island of Aruba. As always, I'm your host, Curtis Robinson, aka Aruba Kurt, and I want to thank you guys so much for deciding to download and listen to today's episode of the show. I mean, seriously, think about it. Letting someone whisper into your ear for an hour, that's a pretty intimate thing. So I want to thank you guys so much for allowing me to do just that. Okay, that didn't come out the way that I meant for it to come out. What I meant to say is thank you guys so much for listening to today's episode, which is featuring a guest who's been coming to Aruba for just about 8 years. She owns timeshares and travels down multiple times a year. Recently, she celebrated her birthday down in Aruba, but now she's back in the cold Midwest, awaiting her next trip, which is coming up pretty soon. Today's guest is a classic example of someone who was a little bit nervous about being on the show, but because I can be so persuasive, she decided to actually give it a shot, and if you ask me, it turned out to be an incredible interview. But I'll let you guys be the judge of that. So please do leave comments and likes and shares and all that stuff, which I'm sure you'll be compelled to do after you listen to today's interview with 8-year Aruba veteran, Kellie Shackleton. How you doing, Kellie?
I'm good. How are you?
Pretty good. Excited to talk to you about Aruba, one of my favorite subjects.
Mine as well.
So the first thing I want to ask you is, how did you first discover Aruba?
My friend Angie and I bought a timeshare together. We bought a blue-green timeshare. And so we had gone to Florida and did this timeshare presentation, and we were like, oh, God, how old were we? We were maybe 25, 26, I think. And we bought a timeshare, and then Aruba was one of the places that we could go with our points. And so that's how we first went. My first time there was in November of 2008.
November of 2008?
Yep, me and Angie went together. Yep.
Cool. And what was your first impression of Aruba?
Well, being from Minnesota, we were happy to be away from the cold and away from the snow.
Right.
And I think our first year, one of the best things that we remembered about it was how easy it was to communicate with everybody. We didn't have to know a different language. You know, we might have had to listen through an accent, but we didn't have to know a different language. And then not having to exchange money at all.
Right.
So I think just for the ease of traveling, that made it a lot easier. But for like the island itself, just how nice and relaxed and how pretty Eagle Beach is. I'd say the beach is probably our most fond memory of our first year going. Yeah.
Right. So had you traveled to many Caribbean islands prior to going to Aruba?
Nope, that was my first one.
Really?
Yep.
Have you gone to any since then?
We went to St. Martin last, not May of this year, but May of last year of 15. I had some timeshare points that were expiring, and so my sister was turning, 34, and we just decided to just, instead of going to Aruba, just to go somewhere else, and so we went to St. Martin for a week. And that was cool too, but very different than Aruba, that's for sure.
Yeah, definitely. So was there a specific moment on Aruba where things just clicked and you knew, hey, this is my spot?
Well, I've gone back every year since, so I don't know that if it was anything specific that happened. I just know that I felt it was just so relaxing and everybody was so friendly, and it was easy, very easy to travel there. And I love warm weather. I love, sun, sand, the whole 9 yards. So, so I ever since. And then in 2009, my friend Amy and I went. She also has Blue Green Timeshare, and Amy and I have been going together ever since. And then Angie has come a couple of times in between there. But, so I don't know if anything specific happened, but where we'd love to go.
So what's it like getting from Minnesota to Aruba? Or can you get a direct flight?
I don't think so. I think maybe Spirit flies direct. I could be wrong. We haven't flown Spirit. We tend to try to stick to American or Delta. And so there's like an 8-hour some flight and a 9-hour some flight total. And we always try to take the longer one. That way it allows for a little more leeway of, what do you call it, when you're stuck there for an hour or two, layover time.
Layovers.
So, yeah. So we try to have a little bit of a longer layover rather than just like an hour. We'd rather have 2 because sometimes coming out of Minnesota in the wintertime, you can get stuck here if there's snow or whatever. So we try to take like the 9-hour and some flight. So it leaves here around 5 in the morning. And then if we fly Delta, we go to Atlanta and then are there for a little bit. And then we, from Atlanta, go to Aruba. Otherwise, if we fly American, we either go through Charlotte or Miami. So, but it's not a bad flight.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like it. I've heard some nightmares about people coming from certain areas where they have to get on a couple different flights, and yeah, it can just be a mess.
Yeah, no, we won't do any flights that are more than one stop. We'll pick a different day if that's our only option on the day that we're looking at.
I don't blame you for that.
No, not happening. That's just too much bouncing around.
Yeah. And you mentioned the Minnesota winters. When do you usually go down to Aruba?
The first year and the second year I believe was November. And that's the year of my birth, or the month of my birthday. And then
Happy birthday, by the way.
Thank you. And then but we've been going like the first 2 weeks of December. And then this year is the first year that things got a little different. We actually have 2 weeks planned in January. We're going to go like the 2nd to the 16th because Amy had a cruise. She's on a cruise right now, actually. So she's doing that. Yeah. And we were supposed to go to the Bahamas for my birthday last month, and Hurricane Matthew ruined it. So the resort we were supposed to go to. So we ended up last minute getting a room and flights to Aruba. So I was just there the 10 days leading up.
Not a bad fallback plan?
No, it wasn't. So we were just there the 10 days leading up like to Thanksgiving. And then we're like, well, yeah, sure. We'll go back in January.
Right.
So
nothing wrong with that.
That works. Yeah.
So let's talk about this last trip you just had.
Okay.
Where did you stay down there?
We always stay at Cabana.
Okay.
Yep.
I hear lots of great things about Cabana.
Yeah, it's nice. It's right across from Eagle Beach, and it's nice. It's not too fancy. What I love about Cabana is how casual it is. You don't have to get super fancy and dressed up to go to dinner if you don't want to. I mean, I don't know. We just like how casual it is there and how everybody is super laid back.
Yeah, I use their beach sometimes because I rent a house when I'm down there, so I just hop from beach to beach. But Cabana's beach is one of my favorites. My favorite for sure, yeah. Great location, nice and quiet.
Yeah, it usually is pretty quiet.
But enough activity for you to get a little bit of energy from it.
Right, absolutely. Every now and then we'll do, jet skis or parasailing or, little things. But for the most part, we're beach bums.
No, I understand that completely. I am from Pittsburgh, so it gets pretty cold there.
Yeah.
Sometimes. So being able to go someplace with such a beautiful beach and the warm water, it's like you try to soak up as much of that as you possibly can.
Yes, absolutely. I always come back and everybody, because I get tan very, very easily. And so I come back and I can't even get away from the questions of, where did you just get back from?
Do people ever nag you about going back to Aruba so often?
All the time. Why don't you fly somewhere else? I'm like, what? I just tell them they need to go. They'll understand if they go.
Exactly.
Yep.
I always say no one goes to Aruba just once.
No, I don't. There's no way I could just stop going there to go other places. There's no way. I just have to add another trip in.
Right. And most of us usually do go other places. It's just that Aruba's our favorite.
By far my favorite. By far.
So tell me a little bit more about Cabana. Like you have Cabana through your timeshare, right?
Yep. Yes. Yep.
I don't know anything about timeshare. So how does Blue Green work?
Oh, okay. So I don't know when the transition happened, but Cabana is I'm not sure, and I don't know the percentage either, but part of it is fixed week owners, which is kind of like what people typically think of timeshares. They have like, week 46 every year in room 122. And that's your room every year that week, whatever. But with Blue Green, it's points based. So it depends on how many points you buy. And then it's kind of, so for instance, peak time is going to be during Carnival. And so it's going to cost you more points to go during that time of the year. So the times that aren't so peak, it's not going to cost as many points to go. And then however big the room is, can factor into how many points it's going to cost you as well. So we started going the first 2 weeks of December because it was just like a little 2-week window that was in between like the ultra red seasons. And so we found that we got the most bang for our buck with our points basically by going those first 2 weeks in December. And that's just what we stuck to that's what we stuck to for the longest time. It just didn't happen to work out this year that way. But yeah, so there are fixed week owners there that, we would see every year because they went that time every year. But this year we're going on different times. So we, didn't get to see any of our normal regular faces and, stuff like that. But yeah, it was pretty cool. I like it there.
Meet some new friends.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. However, there's one lady who, we call her, Jello Shot Becky.
Okay.
And we definitely have, I did not go last December. So I have now not seen her 2 years in a row, and it's very strange because I'm used to seeing her every year.
Right. Yeah. Because they they really do become your friends and almost really like family.
Yeah, they really do.
Since Aruba's weather is always the same, it doesn't really matter if you switch up weeks. You're still going to get the same experience as you would any other time.
I agree, for sure. We did have a crazy day though when I was just there this last time. It had rained.
Was that during the big rainstorms?
Yeah, it had rained all night long. And so my sister and I said, you know what, I'm going to walk over to the beach. And she's like, you're crazy. It's completely underwater. I was like, whatever, I'm walking over there. So just even walking across the street from La Cabana, the water just in that sidewalk was way up past my ankles. It was probably past my ankles, but below my calf. So that's just walking across the sidewalk.
Right.
It was crazy. And then getting through the beach too, it was so nuts how crazy high that water was. But it was, so there's little stuff that happens like that. But for the most part, the weather's always pretty much the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, thank God for that.
I know. I know.
It's nice that it's so dependable. You just don't typically have to worry about being rained out.
No. Well, and two, every year Amy's like, oh, it says it's going to rain the whole time we're there. And I'm like, you cannot look at the forecast for Aruba in November and December. It's going to say rain, but it's not raining. It's 9 times out of 10 is not happening. And if it does, it's for 2 minutes, 3.
Yeah, if I had $1 for every time I saw a Facebook post from someone that's never been to Aruba that checked the weather report and panicked.
Super panicked.
Yes, cracks me up.
Yeah.
Which I understand it because, you hear about Aruba, but then when you check the weather report, the story that it shows is something completely different. So I get the sense of panic.
Yeah. Yeah. And it says, should I reschedule my vacation? I'm like, no, just go. You're fine.
Right. It will work out.
Yep.
So you mentioned you're a beach bum and, you like the water sports, jet skis, parasailing, things like that.
Yep.
Do you have a favorite vendor for that?
We used to in the beginning. I don't know what brought us to Pelican, but in the beginning, that's where we went. It could have been somebody on the beach, with a flyer. It could have been that. I have no idea because La Cabana actually promotes, I think they have a red sail person there. And that's the flyers that they have. But for some reason, we started with Pelican on year 1. And then we stuck with them for many years. And we got to know Robertson, who works for Pelican Tours. And I think that he had got Ambassador of the Year or something like that a couple years ago. So he's pretty well known on the island for his snorkeling and scuba diving and stuff like that. And so we'd always go see him and hang out with him. And then, so last year we didn't go, but the year before that we tried the Jolly Pirates.
Right.
And that was super fun too. Different. Yeah, it was. It was a different experience. I'm actually not a huge snorkeling person. I'm kind of afraid of the water. So a lot of times I don't get in, but, the Jolly Pirates was a little different. It was more of a party vibe, I guess. Where I thought Pelican was a little super fun, mind you, and the guides and all the guys working on the boats are always super cool. But
right.
But yeah, so we've tried Pelican, who we usually go with, and then we tried Jolly Pirates before. But those are the only two that we've ever tried and gone with, and we like them. And then I don't know who we used for parasailing. I don't remember. It's whoever's on the beach right there. There's a hut right on Eagle Beach. So whoever that is, that's who we used. Yeah.
Yeah, there's a couple of them. I'm not sure which one's closest to La Cabana. I think Julio's might be closest to La Cabana.
Okay. All right.
So what else do you like to do in Aruba? I mean, at night, for instance.
Oh, this is such a boring, lame answer. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
We are obsessed with Phase 10, the card game. Have you ever heard of it?
I've never heard of that. So what is it?
It's like the makers of Uno. So it's just 10 phases you have to complete for this card game. And so the card game really is not that important, but we every single night will sit by the pool and play cards. And we have to find a table that has enough light at it. And, we just sit and play cards. Some nights we don't
wrong with that.
We don't go out. We've never gone to a club. I don't even know where they are or where they would be. But a couple of times while we're there, I should say more than a couple, we'll go to Sopranos. That's really the only bar that we go to. So we hang out there often enough. And then, but on nights that we don't go to Sopranos, we're definitely playing cards somewhere at the resort in the dark under, street light.
Right. So. There's nothing wrong with that at all.
Yeah.
Sounds like fun.
It is. I couldn't tell you how many games of Phase 10 that we play on vacation. We play it on the flights there to kill time. We play it on the flights home. Yeah, it's fun. Yeah.
So do you ever get out and explore the island?
We did a Jeep tour a few years ago. It was like the caves. We had the caves, which were really cool. And we went to Baby Beach and the lighthouse. But we did not go to the natural pool.
No?
And that's one of the things that we did want to see. So 2 years ago, we rented a Jeep ourselves, and we had made friends with a guy who lived there. And so he came with us. And so Amy and this gentleman and myself drove to the natural pool ourselves. Have you ever made that drive?
I have not.
Don't do it.
I heard that numerous times.
It's horrible. It's absolutely terrifying. And Amy almost gave up halfway, down the mountain, basically. Not the mountain, but down this very steep hill that doesn't have, it's like loose rock. So it's very possible if you stop, the car's not going to, and it's just going to slide.
Right.
And so he just kept saying, don't stop. Just, you have to keep going. Do not stop. And by the time we got there, she was so shaken up. And so just from the drive, she almost couldn't even get out of the car. She was so nauseous.
Wow.
But it was absolutely beautiful. Now, me riding in the car, it was worth the drive. But
right. But she was traumatized forever.
She still is. If you ask her about it now, you see her face go white. Yeah, and she's like, "There's no way." She just you can just see the panic in her eyes just even thinking about it again. It's pretty funny.
You don't have to do it again.
Oh, no way! But our friend had to drive us out of there. She's like, "There's no way I'm not getting behind the wheel again."
Right.
So he had to drive us out, but So I would say for exploring, we did the one Jeep tour, and then we did natural pool on our own, which if people aren't afraid of, if you're used to off-road type stuff, then by all means go for it. Just be careful. But I would definitely hire somebody to drive you out there. You don't go with a company who does it, on a regular basis, because it's really cool to see. Yeah, it's super cool to see, but no. That drive, I will never make that drive again.
Right. Understandable.
Oh, yeah.
It's a pretty crazy story. Do you have any other ones from Aruba?
No. We're mostly about relaxing, just kind of shopping. We're not big casino. Well, Amy likes casino a little bit. I'm not a huge casino person. If I get down a blackjack table, it could be trouble. But... but otherwise, yeah, we usually just are either at the beach, at the pool, just, relaxing. We're not big drinkers. So it's all just about relaxation for us and just having a good time, but in a very mellow way.
Yeah, recharge. Recharge from everyday life.
Absolutely.
So you guys, are you early risers?
She is. And so she'll get up early. I typically don't. But I always give her permission to, if we, aren't up too late the night before, to make sure she gets me up, that I don't sleep half the day away.
Right.
But yeah, so
what time is early for you?
Early for me is like 8:00.
No, I'm the same way on vacation.
Yeah, 8's early. I mean, if I was left to sleep, because at La Cabana, the bedrooms are in the back of the unit. There's no window. So you have literally no idea what time it is.
Right. It's like a cruise ship.
Right.
Yeah.
I could probably sleep until easily 11-something, just because there's no light or anything coming into the room.
Right. Yeah, that is dangerous.
It is dangerous. So I always tell her, do not let me sleep that long. So, yeah, I don't want to sleep the whole day away.
I'm curious how the Palapa situation is over at La Cabana. Does someone have to get up early to go out there and get you guys seating?
On the beach, or the ones around the pool, or like the tables around the pool?
The beach.
The beach. Well, we never want them, so we've never tried to get them. We always get beach chairs and put as close to the water as we can. But on that super rainy day that my sister and I went out there, it was crazy. I mean, it had literally been storming all night long, and we went out there. And almost all of them had towels and bags and stuff kind of like holding them for people. I think they thought, it would just blow over. So from what I hear and from what I read on like La Cabana, Facebook pages and stuff like that, people go out there super early and throw their beach bag or their towels or whatever and kind of save them. But I also think, and I've heard, that the guys who work the beach, if they see that nobody's been at one for an hour or two, they will take the stuff off.
Right. As well they should.
Yeah. And I guess it's caused quite an issue with when they remove people's things, but yeah. That's just what I read. We never want them.
Right. No, I'm like you. I need to be close to the water.
Yeah, I like to be close to the water and in the heat. If I need to get out of the heat for any reason, I'll go stand in the shade for a minute, but not usually.
Right. Yeah, I just usually get in the water if I need to be out of the heat. Cools me off.
Exactly.
So now I'm going to put you on the spot.
Oh, no.
And I'm going to ask you about any favorite restaurants you might have.
Oh, gosh.
So, well, let me ask you this. What is your favorite type of food to eat?
I don't have a favorite.
No?
I know that sounds really weird, but I don't. And this is going to be even worse. So for everybody's going to be like, are you kidding? I don't eat seafood.
People are going to be like, well, are you kidding? But that's all right. It's your vacation. You do it your way.
I know. So let me just say, from what I hear, all the seafood is absolutely amazing. But I don't eat seafood. However, I have eaten grouper. I have eaten grouper there. I've gone out on a limb. So, and it's good. It's very good. But
just not your thing.
It's just, no, I'm just not a big fish or seafood person. And so I would have to say, if I was to pick like my overall favorite, is Madame Jeanette's, which is a lot of people's favorite.
Yes.
And then when we were just there last month for my birthday, it was my 40th, we went to Barefoot.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever been there?
I've never been to Barefoot.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
So, yep, it's a restaurant that they have some indoor seating, and then the rest of it is literally on the beach. Like, people can be swimming in the ocean right in front of you. Mm-hmm. But if you can get like a 6 o'clock or 6:30 dinner reservation, like we did, we were right in the front, and right at sunset is when we were getting sat. So it was absolutely perfect. Yeah, it was super nice. Yep. I'm sure everybody was thinking there's 3 girls, at this super romantic beach, and there's 3 girls sitting there having dinner. But we're like, whatever. It was fun. And the food was amazing. Amazing.
Very important.
Yeah.
So have you ever eaten at Passions?
Mm-mm.
No?
We haven't.
I was just curious how they compare to each other.
No. Is Passions the one that's in front of Amsterdam Manor?
Yes.
It is. Okay, yeah. So I know where it is. I've seen it, but I've never eaten there. Mm-hmm. Which is funny since it's right next door to La Cabana.
Yeah. Right. Yeah, whatever.
No. Yeah, whatever. We did a little Facebook poll of restaurants to go to when we were there, and of all the ones mentioned, Barefoot was mentioned the most. So that's where we went.
Barefoot has a lot of fans.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, it was definitely out of the way.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, no.
But worth the trip.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay, Kellie Shackleton, are you ready for the eye of the hurricane?
Yes. I'm ready.
So, as you know, Aruba lies below the hurricane belt. Mm-hmm. But on One Happy Podcast, we pick you up and we drop you right in the center of one, which is where you'll be asked a series of tough questions, and you'll answer back in amazingly insightful answers as only you can. Are you ready?
Oh, gosh. I think so.
No pressure.
You say that and start laughing.
So finish this sentence. You know you're in Aruba when?
Oh, God, really? You know you're in Aruba when? You're talking to somebody, and then they switch and talk in Papiamento, and then they switch and talk in Spanish, and then they switch again and speak in Dutch in all a matter of like 10 minutes.
Nice. Give me a no-brainer great time in Aruba.
Soprano, piano bar.
I halfway expected you to say Phase 10.
Ah, that would have been my other half.
You get 2 answers. What's the best kept secret in Aruba?
Oh, gosh. I don't know. It's not a secret to me anymore. Nothing's a secret anymore, so I don't know what the best kept secret is. Mm-hmm. I think I would just say the friendliness of the people and not feeling like you're in a foreign country. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times, like when I went to Paris, I felt so out of place. It was hard to talk to anyone. You have to make sure to convert your money. I think just the familiarity of everything and just feeling at home.
Right. Yeah. So do you think the ease of traveling to Aruba is the biggest draw?
I think so, for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. It's an island that people who aren't used to traveling can go to and not have to worry about a lot, but it's also an island that those who are familiar with traveling can go to and really appreciate still.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. It's not intimidating. It's
not
an intimidating
at all.
Place to travel. Mm-mm.
And the people help out so much.
Yes, they do. Absolutely.
Are there any special tools, apps, or resources you use to plan your Aruba trips?
Well, we do our room through our timeshare, and then our flights, we usually just do your typical, your Orbitz or your Travelocity. However, for this last one, we got a deal on our flight for the January flight. We typically pay around $650, give or take $20-$30. So $630 to like $700 for a flight. Okay. And we've been on looking this last time, and little did we know that Expedia, when you plug in your dates, will automatically check one-ways as well. So instead of checking a round trip for Delta or a round trip for American or round trip flights, they'll check one-ways because for some reason they might be cheaper than a round trip. We got our flights with, so our normal one-stop flight, nothing, no crazy layovers, our normal flight, and added insurance for $305 each.
Nice.
I know. So we're like, guess we're looking on Expedia from now on.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was pretty cool.
I had no idea that Expedia did that for you.
We didn't either. She said it popped. Amy was just looking, just kind of like, oh, we should probably start looking at flights. This was a couple months ago. And she said it popped up and she had to like almost one of those cartoons, where you like have to rub your eyes. Like, am I really
right? Oh, I get it.
Yeah, she was like, what? There's no way that says 305 and these flights are what they say they are. But they weren't. Yep.
You have to book it.
Yeah, she did. And she booked it and spelled my middle name wrong. So that was a little bit of a thing to try and figure out after the fact. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. You get it all worked out?
You got it all worked out?
Cool.
Yeah.
What's missing from Aruba, or how do you think Aruba could be improved?
Oh, really? I don't know.
We'll tackle them one at a time. What's missing from Aruba?
I don't know. Honestly.
Other than you at the moment.
I know, right? Exactly, me. You know what? I think our first year that we went, there used to be a jazz club. Was it called Mr. Jazz? Did you ever go back then? Back in like 08?
Never. Yes, but I'm not sure if there was. I'm not sure.
Okay, so there was a club called Mr. Jazz, and it was up next to where the movie theater is at the mall. And it was so just laid back and like adult fun. It was a jazz club.
Right.
And so, I mean, I guess I haven't asked around since. I kind of forgot about it until now that you're asking. But, you see the restaurants and piano bars and stuff like that, but I don't think that, I would totally go to a jazz club again there. And I don't think they have them.
Are you a big music fan?
Huge music fan.
Yeah,
so
you have to be from Minnesota, yeah.
Yeah, huge music fan. So I would say maybe live music, but not necessarily like, the bands that play this spot every Monday and the band that plays that spot. Not that they're terrible. But,
right.
Yeah, just something, that you can almost kind of dress up to go out for. That would be nice to do, once or twice while you're there.
Sometimes not the typical cookie cutter bar band experience. Right,
because we always go for 2 weeks. So we try to, we don't want to keep doing the same thing the entire time we're there. Yes, I would say, maybe that sort of vibe.
Right.
Not a nightclub with crazy loud music, but something just laid back where you can enjoy the music and enjoy a show.
Something a little classier.
Yeah.
That's a great answer.
Thanks.
Do you have something special you bring from home or pick up as soon as you arrive to help you take your vacation to the next level?
Bring from home. We always pack a couple of food items since we are in a timeshare and we have a full kitchen. So we do pack a couple of things. We figure why not? As long as it doesn't put our luggage overweight, why not? And then we always bring a beach towel, and not a regular beach towel. We have like chair towels, so they cover the entire chair. We have like a pillow. So that's like our one thing that I only pack when I'm going to Aruba, I would say, is a chair
I'm not familiar with those.
Yeah, I got it at Sam's Club. So they just kind of like hook over your chair and then tie onto the bottom so that, whatever towel you're using from your resort is actually not soaked from you laying on it.
Right. Got to look into that. See, you're teaching me. I'm learning things. An educational podcast.
There you go.
So you've been going to Aruba for a while, but is there anything left on your bucket list for Aruba that you still have to try?
Left on my bucket list for Aruba that I still have to try. Kind of. I am not even fully committed in my head yet. I think maybe someday I might want to go skydiving there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
You and me both.
Yeah. I always wanted to get a tattoo there, and I did that last month. So I got a tattoo last month. So now I'm thinking possibly skydiving.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this counts really towards the question of doing something in Aruba, but I always thought, you can take like a day trip to Curacao for the day.
Right.
That might be cool. Yeah, that'd be kind of cool too. So I think those are really the main two things that we haven't done that I think would be fun for us. Yeah.
Yeah, skydiving is definitely on my list. So this tattoo you got, what did you get?
It's a little tattoo on the side of my foot that runs along the bottom of my foot. And in Papiamento, which is their language, it says, "With all my love."
Nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. And where did you have it done?
I had it done at Inkspiration Tattoo. The tattoo artist's name was Ryan. And it is right next door to Sopranos.
Okay.
Yeah.
What was that experience like?
It was super cool. He was a really nice guy. We had gone in, just kind of, and again, did a Facebook poll where I could get a tattoo, and that one came up the most, and I was like, okay. So I just walked in there late one night. They were open until midnight. We walked in at like 11:30, 11:45, and just asked, if I could get one done on a Sunday, because we were leaving Monday. And of course, I didn't want to have to worry about keeping my foot dry while I'm in Aruba and out of a pool and out of sand and everything else. And so he was super nice and came in on Sunday night for me. They're normally closed on Sundays. Or they do them by appointment only anyway. And so he came in on Sunday night for me around like 8 or 8:30, I think, and did my tattoo for me. And then we just went to Sopranos afterwards and had a good last night there. And yeah, super nice guy.
Nice. That is customer service.
Yes. Yeah, it was pretty good.
That's what I like to hear, man. Everyone down there is so accommodating.
He was super cool. And we, and I'm sure that he gets, hit on all the time and, all these crazy things that I'm sure women do on vacation when they're away. I don't know, maybe. But so I kind of felt bad, like asking him if he wanted to come have a drink with us afterwards because I didn't want it to seem weird,
like, here we go again.
Right. So I was like, hey, I don't know what you're doing after this, if anything, but we're literally going next door to have drinks if you want to come over. And he was like, yeah, okay. And so he said, so I have to do a couple things, clean up, whatever. And he did. He came over and, had a couple drinks with us and hung out, and super nice guy. Yeah. Nice. So we had fun. Great
story.
Yeah.
Okay, so this next question is a little confusing, so you might need some clarification. If you do, feel free to ask.
Okay.
What's your Aruba vacation superpower?
I think I need clarification.
Okay, so basically, what do you do in Aruba better than anyone else? Other than hit on tattoo artists.
Oh my God. What do I do? Oh my God, I don't know. I'm super laid back there. I'm like poster child for like beach goddess, like in the sun, reading a book, just doing absolutely nothing, just soaking up the rays. So I think
that is a superpower.
It is? Okay.
Believe it or not, because most people would accidentally do something, but you've perfected the ability to do nothing.
Yes. Amazing. Yes, that's totally me.
If given a chance, would you move to Aruba?
Yesterday, yes. Absolutely. I've been wanting to move there for at least 5 years.
So do you think it'll ever happen?
I hope so. I hope so. It's not easy. It's not easy to move there.
No, it's not.
No, they don't make it easy.
What would you say is the main obstacle?
I believe that you have to have a certain amount of money in the bank to go. And that is true, right?
Yes, it is.
So yeah, and not even anywhere near there. So that would be my main obstacle. Is because if I did go there, I know everybody says, oh, you can, go for 3 months and then leave. Well, yeah, I can't go for 3 months and not work.
Right.
So one good thing about Aruba that isn't good for me as somebody who wants to move there and work there, but it's good for them, is that all of their jobs are offered to Arubans first.
Right.
So I can't go in as an American who only speaks English and get a job. I just can't.
That's very difficult.
Yeah. So I would definitely have to learn Spanish first and get some money in the bank, and then I could probably make it happen. But yeah.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Exactly.
That was
and
corny.
it all makes sense. But it all makes sense. They want to make sure that their people are employed and everything else, and then at the same time, they don't want people who aren't going to contribute to move there.
Right. Every country should.
I mean, it's good that they want. Yeah, it's good that they want you to come there and have a cushion. Yeah,
it makes complete sense.
Totally makes sense. I just need to figure my life out to get there. That's all.
Right. So, this is the final question of the Eye of the Hurricane. Okay?
Yeah, I'm ready.
It's a long one, so bear with me for a second.
Okay.
The people of Aruba have decided to lock you out of paradise. That's right, they're no longer allowing visitors to the island.
Oh, God. Okay.
However, since you've been such a great guest so many times, they've decided to allow you to visit for one more day, all expenses paid. Kellie Shackleton, how do you spend your last day on the island of Aruba?
Oh, my gosh. Okay, so and I know it's my last day, right? So I can plan for it. Okay.
Anything you want.
Anything I want. I'm going to get up. I'm actually going to get up. I'm going to get up early, and so I don't waste a single minute of the day. And all expenses paid. I'm not going to spend that much money. I'm still going to I'm not going to. I'm still not going to spend that much money. So, all expenses paid. I'm probably, if I never go back, I'm going to go skydiving.
Right.
I am probably, since I went skydiving, I probably don't need to go parasailing. But if there's enough time in the day, I would do that as well to be above the water and looking at the island again. I would do that. I would definitely just take some time at the beach and not do anything for part of the day. I would have to eat at Madame Jeanette's, and I would have to go to Sopranos. Tess is the bartender there, and I believe she might be the manager as well, but one of my favorite people on the island, and so I would definitely have to go see her. And then I'm kind of a shopper, so.
Okay.
So, yeah, Jimmy at Christie's would definitely make a nice little commission on jewelry that day.
Right. Sounds like a plan.
But yeah, that's it.
No, it sounds like a great day. Did everything that you wanted to do.
Yes, absolutely.
So you survived the eye of the hurricane. How was it?
It wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Okay. So this is the final question of the interview, okay?
Okay.
Right now, there's probably someone listening who's never been to Aruba, and they're on the fence about whether or not they should go. And since time is so precious, and money is too, obviously, what would you say to that person to convince them that Aruba is the place that they should make their next vacation destination?
Did they hear the rest of this interview?
Good answer.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so the beaches are amazing. The people are all super friendly and super helpful and amazing. You're not going to have a hard time communicating with people. It's that, you don't have to worry about converting your money and any of that. You do have to, however, be prepared to spend a little extra money. It's not an inexpensive island to go to, but if you get tips from people who have been there before, you can definitely have fun and spend your money right. I would say, you have to go. It's absolutely beautiful and relaxing. And if you need to stop and recharge, that's the one place I would always go every year to do so.
Well, you convinced me.
Good. Yep, we know you love it there.
So much so that I legally changed my name to Aruba Kurt.
You did not legally change
not really. My mom would kill me.
Oh my God, that'd be so great though.
She would kill me. I could I could not tell her.
Oh my God, that's so funny. I love it.
But I want to thank you so much for taking part of this interview. I know you were nervous about it at first, but how was it?
It was easy. It was easier than I thought it would be. Thank you.
That's right. I guarantee that people will have fun if they do it. I mean, we all love to talk about Aruba, so that's all it is just two people having a conversation about their favorite place.
Absolutely.
I guess I will let you get out of here. Thanks again.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Okay, and take care.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
So there you have it for the 72nd episode of One Happy Podcast. My conversation with Kellie Shackleton. I hope you enjoyed it. I know I did. There was lots of good information on the show about La Cabana, blue-green timeshares, Jolly Pirates, and a whole lot more. If you missed something, don't worry about it because, as always, I took the notes so that you don't have to, and they can be found over at onehappypodcast.com/EP72. OneHappyPodcast.com is kind of like the flagship for all things podcast related, so head on over there and check out what's going on. There's blog posts, the resource page, and an archive of this and every other episode of One Happy Podcast that has ever been recorded, with lots more good stuff planned for after the new year. So make sure you do check it out. Also, if you like the show and appreciate what I do, please head on over to iTunes to leave me a review, hopefully a 5-star review. And the easiest way to do that is to go to onehappypodcast.com/iTunes, and that'll redirect you over to where you need to go in order to leave that review. Those help with the visibility of the podcast, which in turn means that more people will listen to it, more people get exposed to it, so that's always helpful for me. So I really would appreciate it if you could take a couple of seconds to do that. And once again, I want to thank Kellie Shackleton for taking the time out of her day to talk to me and all of you about her experiences in Aruba. I always get a kick out of hearing how everyone does their own version of Aruba. They're all special and they're all interesting in their own way, and I really do enjoy being able to help that person share their version of Aruba with everyone else. We all have an Aruba story to share, and I would love to help you share yours. So if you'd be interested in being a guest on a future show, please head on over to onehappypodcast.com and click the tab at the top of the page that says Share Your Story, or you can email me at kurt@onehappypodcast.com. That's Kurt with a C. And it sounds like I'm starting to lose my voice, so I'm going to let you guys get out of here. So once again, thank you so much for listening to One Happy Podcast, the officially unofficial podcast of the island of Aruba. Oh, wait, one more thing.
Hit the music.